Welcome back to Organized Chaos Stories with Shabana. I'm your host, Shabana Knight, and this is Manifesting Mondays, where we talk about real life stories, magic, patience, and the reminders that what's meant for us always finds its way. However, sometimes just not on our timeline. Each week, I share stories that show how manifestation isn't always instant, flashy, or loud. Sometimes it is quiet. Sometimes it takes years, and sometimes it shows up when you least expect it, like during a baseball end of the year pizza party. So take a deep breath, settle in, and let this story remind you to stay open, stay trusting, and keep believing in what you desire. Now, this is a story all about how my life got started and kind of turned upside down. So I'd like to take a moment. So just sit right there and I'll tell you how I became a mom to a princess who decided riding horses was in her ears and how she followed the whispers. I'm going to say right here that the desire to ride horses has never been something that has been in me. Nothing I grew up with. I kind of think horses are, well, they're really big and they're smelly, and I'm always afraid they're going to step on my toe or break my foot. And my husband also did not grow up around horses and the farm life per se. However, from a very young age, my daughter knew exactly what she wanted. When she was about 4 or 5 years old, she looked at me and said, "I want to ride horses." And I kind of just laughed and I was like, oh, well, that's interesting. Okay, not sure where this is from, but let's explore it. So I looked around and I found someone at church who had a horse and said that she would love to teach my daughter a few things. So she rode with this friend for a couple times at the age of 5, and she loved it. Unfortunately, our schedule didn't work, so that kind of chapter just ended. And I was also kind of hoping maybe Jasmine will grow out of this phase. Of course, it did not. And then a couple years later, Jasmine was around the age of 7 and we found another place. Same thing, she rode a few times and then again the scheduling did not work and that kind of dissolved. And then COVID hit, everything was on pause. And then fast forward, when things started opening back up, my middle child was in 5th grade and he had just finished his baseball season, and it was the end of year baseball party and it was at the local pizza place. And Jasmine and I ended up sitting next to another mom. I didn't know her very well, but we're just chatting and waiting for our food. And at this time, Jasmine's in 3rd grade and she's sitting there coloring the kids' sheet. And she goes, "Oh, does your daughter play any sports?" And I said, "No, not really, but she's super active and stuff. And she's done cheerleading and stuff." And then, of course, I assume Jasmine's not really paying attention because she's very focused on coloring and drawing and stuff. Jasmine's also very artistic and stuff. But of course, kids are very honest. And let's be honest, they're always listening, even when we think they're not listening. So she pops her head up and she says, "I want to be riding horses, but my mom can't figure it out yet." So immediately I just laugh. I'm yeah, well, yeah, she wants to ride horses, but it's kind of expensive. And the 2 places that we've tried to figure out, it just hasn't worked out. And this mom that I literally just met is "Oh, my cousin lives on a farm and she is starting her business and she's starting to teach kids how to ride horses. I can give you her information." And "Wait, what? Are you serious?" She's "Yeah, let me just send it to you, blah, blah, blah." So just like that, everything shifted. And Jasmine has been with this horse trainer ever since. It's been about 4 years now. 4 years of consistency, joy, growth, connection, and love for something she held in her heart for years. All of this to say, kids are incredible manifestors. She never let go of that desire. She stayed patient, she trusted, and eventually the right person at the right place at the right time appeared. Now, full disclosure, I've been on a horse once and it was not my thing. So clearly horses are not in my blood. But I am so grateful she found something she loves, something that gets her outside, grounded in nature, and connected to animals. And recently I had my friend Katja on the podcast, and one thing that really impressed me was that she had been in therapy since childhood, and I thought that was amazing because most parents don't even think to offer that kind of support to their kids. And then last week I had my friend Kimberly Katherine on the podcast, And we talked about horses and how being around horses can be incredibly therapeutic, especially for children. And then, so at the end of this episode, I'm going to play that clip from my conversation with Kimberly about talking about horses and how like therapeutical it is. But I realized when I was talking to Kimberly last week, like it suddenly all clicked. Like therapy doesn't always look like sitting on a couch and talking. Sometimes therapy looks like playing in the dirt, fresh air, animals, movement, and connection. So here's what I'm really trying to say. When you stay open, the things you desire can literally fall into your lap. The right people, the right places, the right situations. Before we close, I want to leave you with this mantra. Feel free to say it with me or come back to it throughout the week. I trust the timing of my life. What is meant for me will not miss me. I stay open to unexpected opportunities. The right people and situations are finding me now. I am supported, guided, and exactly where I need to be. Thank you for spending this Manifesting Monday with me. If this story resonated with you, take it as a sign something beautiful may be unfolding behind the scenes. Stay open, stay trusting, because this just might be your week of manifesting something amazing. And remember, you've got this. Love you guys. Bye. And again, keep listening and you'll hear the clip from last week's episode with Kimberly about horses and how therapeutical it all is. She's not really like into any sports right now. And I was like, oh, she's done like cheerleading or something. And my daughter like pipes up and she's like, I want to ride horses, but my mom can't figure it out. I was like,
oh yeah,
right, girl. And it was really funny. And then the lady that I had like literally, I felt like just met was like, oh, my cousin is just starting to teach kids how to ride horses. So we literally had been with this lady's cousin for the past like 5 years, and my daughter has been riding horses since, and like she like loves it. But I love what you were saying on one of your recent podcasts about like heart coherence and horses and stuff.
that was this week.
I don't know what you want to share, but can you just
Oh
talk
yeah.
about horses?
Well, it's amazing. So, first of all, is your daughter still riding horses?
Yes,
Beautiful.
she's turning 13 on Saturday, so
Oh,
yeah,
wow. On
and she's
Saturday. Wow.
the seven,
So, how long is when did she start? At 8?
like more regularly at 8. Yeah,
That's really amazing.
yeah,
Like,
she.
honestly, this is a moment of just like put your hands on your heart and go, I'm a badass mom. And take a
She's a
deep breath.
badass kid.
No, no, I'm a badass mom.
I'm a badass mom.
And you know why? You're
No,
giving your daughter the biggest gift ever. I don't know if you know that. It's huge. And if you have tears, just let them roll because that's freaking awesome. The heart coherence is when we're in flow. And heart coherence is when we're not in fight or flight. It's when we listen to that inner voice, whatever you want to call it, guides, this or anything. And also you can tell because when you're in heart coherence, you good?
yeah,
Have a glass of water, have a sip of water.
taking it in. Thank you.
Yeah. So when we're in heart coherence, we expand 5 feet. And I love it. See, you honored yourself. Beautiful. I'm serious. We do not give ourselves enough credit, especially as moms. We need to take it in. So when we're in heart coherence, that goes out 5 feet. So you know when you walk in a room and you're like, man, that person's got good energy. It's not just the energy, it's heart coherence. They're not in fight or flight. They're present, they're intentional, and they're calm. Now with horses, their hearts are 20. Ours is like, I think 4 or 5 pounds. I'm not sure exactly, something like, maybe it's not
Yeah,
that big.
like
Theirs are like 20 pounds. Their hearts
wow.
are much bigger than ours, which means that their heart coherence goes out 10, 20 feet.
Wow.
So when you're in the presence of a horse, you're in heart coherence. They mirror what's going on with you. You've basically been giving your daughter the most amazing therapy that she could ever ask for. And she doesn't even know it She knows it instinctually, but you listened and you carried through, which is amazing. And I just want to honor that. And I'll keep talking, so you just keep drinking the water. But it's so beautiful. And, I'd been around a little bit now. I grew up, in the country and there were horses and stuff. But they're also it's an expensive thing. And my mom didn't have a lot of money. She was a teacher. My dad, gave the money and all that and everything. But 4 girls, didn't have a lot of money. We didn't have money to be doing horses. It's an expensive sport. I know that. And when you have a young child, they're growing all the time, which means you have to have the right genes all the time. You have to have the right shoes all the time. And the saddle, I don't know how long that lasts. I think that may last a little bit longer. Their head grows. You have to have a new helmet. So that could be an additional $200. At least. I don't know. You could tell me. I'm just getting into this.
It adds up quickly.
It adds up quickly. So that's heart coherence. Now, I just recently saw the film. It's on my podcast, but it was beautiful. And I dedicated, and I highly recommend it. I don't know if it's going up to I don't know if it's going up to your area, but you will be able to stream it soon. And let's see. What was the movie? It's Rescued Hearts.
Okay.
And it's all about heart coherence. Well, it's about the healing of horses. And the lady and her partner. So I saw a special screening over the hill. I live in Santa Cruz. A friend invited me, and it was so beautiful. And she had her partner there, the director and producer. She had this one clip. I mean, so many clips, but with her dad, and he did some healing with a horse, and I'm going to let people just go see it, but it was so moving, and I dedicated that episode to her because it's very profound. And yeah, I've done 4 things with horses. I've done meditation with horses. I've done yoga in the pasture with horses. This Friday, I'm doing Qigong. I've done Qigong too. Qigong in the pasture with horses. And then I've also done 2 little mini retreats. One was specifically with my daughter. And you may entertain doing that also. It's like basically where you go and, the horses will, like I said, they mirror what you're going through. But a lot of equine therapy is, and they do it with a lot of children or people that are dysregulated. It regulates your nervous system. So you're giving such a gift to your daughter, like unbelievable. I'm so happy for you, and really, and I'm happy for your daughter. That's so beautiful. And you've continued. That's why I was asking you when. You said, well, kind of 8.
Yeah.
That's almost 5 years. That's amazing, right? Let's see. That's a lot. So does she have a specialty? Does she want to compete? Or does
She's done barrel races, but with regular horsing, she just loves all of it.
Riding?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Western.
Okay. That's awesome. Yeah, there's a big whole thing about rescuing horses. And where I live, there's a couple different sanctuaries where they have them. And a lot of time they, what do they call it? Rehabilitate them because they've been traumatized. A lot of them are race horses, or they go up for auction, or they're just going to be euthanized. I mean, they're really, really, really amazing, amazing creatures. And they're very intelligent, very intelligent. Yeah. So, yeah.
I mean, she has her heart set that she is going to be working with horses for the rest
of her life.
She's like, my first car is going to be a truck with a trailer.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's so beautiful. That is like amazing. Oh, yay. Wow.
Super cool. Super fun.
Yeah.
Hey, you. Yes, you. Thank you so much for listening to Organized Chaos, Stories with Shabana. If you love this episode as much as I did, hit that subscribe button, leave an outstanding review, and share it with a friend who needs some inspiration. Thank you for being part of this community. Remember, in every bit of chaos, there is always a story waiting to emerge. Who knows, maybe sharing your story might inspire others to share theirs. The possibilities are endless. Let's live in the possibilities. This podcast is sponsored by Happy Mail. I created Happy Mail for when you don't have the words, Happy Mail does. Happy Mail sends handwritten cards of encouragement that uplift, comfort, and reminds everyone they matter. Happy Mail is better than a McDonald's Happy Meal, spreading kindness, not calories. Click the link in the show notes and get your Happy Mail sent ASAP. Limited to U.S. residents only.